Hi friends, and welcome back to the second video out of 3. Remember, we're talking about forgiveness, and I'm pulling these truths from Genesis 33, 1 through 11. And the reason we're going there is because in my quiet time recently, I found some really new, amazing things. And one of the amazing things I found is that Joseph was there. Now you remember, I wrote a Bible study just this past spring called Joseph, Keeping a Soft Heart in a Hard Place. And it's a Bible study about healing. It's a verse-by-verse study of Genesis 37 through 50, which is Joseph's story. But oh my goodness, I wish I would have included this story from Genesis 33, 1 through 11 in that Bible study. And since I didn't, I thought I'd share it with you on video. Yesterday, or in our previous video, whenever you watched it, we talked about that story of Genesis 33. This is the story of Jacob returning to Canaan, and where he encounters Esau, whom he had deeply wounded because he weaseled him out of his birthright and he stole his father's blessing from him. Now, I'm not going to fill in all the gaps there. You can go back and watch the video. You can read the Bible and read those passages to find out what you need to there. But what we do need to focus on is Esau had every reason in the world to have a hardened heart, to be angry, to be furious with Jacob still. But what we found instead was a man who had a healed heart. We found a man who was able to offer grace and forgiveness and love. And not just after Jacob had apologized or given him gifts, in fact, but Esau was able to offer him these things because he had worked out his forgiveness with God. And then he was able to walk out forgiveness with Jacob. That was our point from yesterday. Well, our point from today has to do with a great source of the healing. Like I said, Esau had obviously kept his heart soft in the same way that I believe that Joseph does. And when Joseph keeps his heart soft, God's able to bring healing, and he brings him out of that pit and out of that prison. A man who is able to have compassion on people, a man who is able to provide leadership and wisdom, and a man who's able to give forgiveness to his offenders. Esau has given that same kind of forgiveness to Jacob, and yet Esau had every reason to be angry at him. Remember, Jacob had stolen something from Esau that was rightfully Esau's. You know, it occurs to me, friend, that often our hurts have the same root. We've lost something. Something has been taken from us that was ours. Something was withheld from us that either was rightfully ours, or we at least would have liked to have received it from a person or a group of people. For instance, maybe something was taken from you. Maybe someone took your sexual purity. Maybe someone took your honor, your good name, your respect. Maybe someone took years of your life and then they walked out the door. Maybe someone took your marriage. Maybe someone took your husband. Maybe someone took credit for your work at your job. Maybe someone took something from you. Or maybe someone just withheld something that either you deserved or at least you desperately craved from them. Maybe someone withheld their love when you lavished yours upon them. Maybe someone withheld their attention and they didn't give you much of their time, and you had given them so much of yours. Maybe someone withheld from you their affection, their companionship, their respect that you worked so hard for. Maybe someone withheld something from you. When someone takes something or withholds something that either we desperately desire or we honestly deserve or that truly is ours, I believe it leaves us feeling like we've been violated and feeling like we've lost, even feeling like we're a loser, right? I mean, there were days when I honestly just told myself, Kay, you're a loser because you've lost something. If you've lost something, if you've lost someone, if you've lost something dear to you, then you know how Esau would have felt. But we find out in this passage that Esau no longer felt that way. You see, we find out that he's healed, and he's able to give grace and love and mercy And here's why. Esau realized that even though someone else had taken something from him, he had everything he needed. Let's look at verse 9 of Genesis 33. And here Esau is responding to Jacob's desire to give him gifts. And Esau says, I have plenty, my brother. Let what you have be your own. Now remember who he's talking to. He's talking to a man who stole from him a birthright and a blessing. And yet, when he's trying to give him just some animals, just to win his favor, Esau says, you know what? I have everything I need. I am lacking nothing. That's amazing to me, that this man has experienced such healing that he's no longer focused on what has been taken from him, but he is obviously focused on how blessed he is and how much he has. Let's continue, because Jacob also knows that he has plenty. In verse 11, continuing the same conversation, Jacob says, please take my gift, which has been brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have plenty. Jacob also says, I have plenty. And Jacob even knows the reason he has plenty. He says, I have plenty because God's been gracious with me. You know what, friend? As long as we focus on what we've lost, we will continue to hurt. And the more we focus on what we lost or what we did not receive that we felt we should have received, our hearts will harden. Walls will go up. We will self-protect and will cut ourselves off from life and from the people who would like to be involved in our lives. We will also disqualify ourselves from God's use as we harden our hearts and we focus on our pitiful losses. But I learn here, and I learned from Joseph, that when we focus on God's graciousness and when we focus on the fact that He is enough, He is everything I need, and He knows exactly what I need. And if someone has taken something from me, then God knows I can do without it. And if someone withheld something from me, then God assures me, Kay, you can do without it because I am enough for you. I believe that when we can say, I have plenty, then we'll begin to heal. In fact, I really think that that healing will become when we learn to say, God is plenty. He is everything I need. I'd like to encourage you, if you're still trying, and I understand it takes time, it takes effort, it takes work with God. If you're trying to forgive, if you're trying to move on, if you desire for your broken heart to heal, begin today to focus not on your losses, but focus on the graciousness of God and the fact that He is plenty. I'll see you back here real soon.